On the front here, I have this other part that I use to mount one end of this cable carrier. This is a long one. The shorter one that goes around here for the Y direction, right here, and it bolts in place of the parts that are there as part of the original design. So I've got those in there, again, just to support one end of that. And all of this wiring, I use this, I believe it's PET sleeving that you can buy. And there's other folks have referenced this. It really does do a good job keeping your wires very neat, very tidy. I recommend getting a roll of that. That's also down in the parts list below. The vacuum hose that I have here, ordered that from Amazon. It's smaller than what a lot of folks use. I know a lot of folks use very large hose. I went the other direction. I tried to keep it more, keep it smaller, keep it compact. And I have a reason for that. And the reason for that is, let me pull this off. The reason for that is the dust shoe. This dust shoe is pretty compact. I did not want a large dust shoe. I wanted it to be as small as possible. I also wanted the dust shoe to be independent of the router. Did not want it moving up and down as a lot of the dust shoes do with the router. I wanted to be able to move that to a fixed height, and then it stays there. So you can basically slide it down like that to just above the surface, and it stays there. On the other side of this part right here are 6 neodymium magnets, 3 per side, and that holds these rods still. They don't move. So as the router moves up and down, and I'll try to do that here. Sorry for that. It's independent of the dust chute. And I do that because, I didn't want the brush. And by doing it that way, it allows me to get very close to the work surface with that nozzle, with that cone on the bottom side there, and I have no problems getting out dust. It gets just about every bit of it. And you'll see at the end of this, toward the end of this video, where I route this part right here, you'll see just how well it works. I was very pleased with it, and for me, I think it works pretty good. Now, all of these parts here are for the Makita RT0701C. This was a router that I already had, so I designed this clamp and everything for that. Again, that's also will be in the Thingiverse parts. These clamps here, I decided to use some 1" by 1/2" C-channel steel. I've notched it 3/4 inch from either end and drilled 3 holes in it, 11/32 diameter clearance hole for a 5/16 bolt, which is what I'm using here for all of these T-nuts. These are 5/16 18 threads T-nuts. This is a very common way to make a waste board. I like this method better than the screw in the thread inserts because those can pull right out. These hold very, very well, and they don't. You're working very hard if you pull one of those out, and you just do not need to tighten them that much. The only thing is, you have to be careful. You don't want your bit to hit that, or it's gone. The vacuum hose coming out of the back here, just got it running to a little shop vac, very small. It's not big at all, but it does a really good job. I think in large part because the dust shoe hole size is not large, it's small. And the velocity stays up pretty high. Now I've moved this over to the side to get it from over top of the board there. I'm going to show you how this dust shoe comes out. Basically just slide that down like that. I pull this little clear window out. This also not only allows you to see inside, but it also helps to keep chips from flying out. So it's also a little bit of a shield there. But you pull that down, pull that out right like that, and you just twist it around, and it comes right out. And that's it. Now I have this as a separate part that you bolt to the bottom of the dust shoe, but if you wanted to, you could glue it. Just do away with the screws. You don't really need them. I did that because that was I printed it after the fact. But it comes out really easy, and I've notched this right here and allowed enough room to get in there for the spindle lock. So you can get in there with your finger to hold that, and also get in there with a wrench to loosen up the nut to switch the bits out. So that works well. Works pretty good for me. This piece right here has, as I mentioned, a place for 6 neodymium magnets, and that's what's used to hold the rods in place. And as I mentioned, they're very strong. I also slotted this piece because you are going to have to replace the existing 5/16 bolt. I don't remember the length, but you're going to have to use a 2-inch long bolt. And having this piece slotted makes it easier to get it in there. You can just get that bolt in and up in there, put the nut on it, get it started, slide that in, and leave it a little bit loose so that you can align these rods up after you push the rods in the shoe, of course, and turn it so that you can get a good alignment between the top and this piece, so that it will slide up and down pretty smoothly. Okay, I think I've talked long enough. I think it's time to see this thing in action.